Here.
Here.
Here. All right, here. So, I believe the first thing is adoption of the minutes. I'm going to pass that down. Sorry, guys. Oh, first is, of course, public comment for items not on the agenda. There being no public here, I'm assuming there's none. Next, consent calendar is approval of minutes from May and June. Any changes or comments or motions to approve? Yes.
I just want to comment on, want to thank all the work that was put in to put these minutes together, because a couple of these meetings,
Absolutely.
there was a lot of discussion. And, I pretty much, we always kind of look at what we said to, make sure it was right. And I couldn't believe, how well it was. But I found one thing, and that was on the May 23rd meeting minutes. I don't think we adjourned at 6:32 because we started at 6 o'clock. So it must have been 8:32.
Or 7:32.
Or 7:32. I don't know when we ended, but I'm sure it was more than a half hour.
We'll find out
Okay.
specifically
But,
when it.
that's,
Yeah,
that's
of course.
a minor little
Of course, we
correction.
didn't.
We did have a
Thank
really
you.
quick meeting one time, but I don't think it
Okay.
was the one.
I mean, I just happened to notice that, and I don't think we've ever.
Started early and.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, this one did start at 6, though. So, anyway, that's the only correction I could find.
Okay, thank you very much.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Question. I echo the compliment on these minutes. We had a joint meeting of this committee and the Public Works Committee in the morning of June 13th. Do we share those minutes? How does that work?
The downtown parking committee that we
Downtown
met with?
Parking Committee, yeah. When we talked about the bicycle,
Yeah, good
the
question.
bicycle program.
I don't know the answer to that. I would imagine since it was at their time, they adopt those minutes.
Yes, and I can make sure that Malcolm Hamilton gets a copy to me to get to all.
Okay.
Okay, so
Since that was a joint committee meeting, I just wondered about that.
right. Okay, so Kim said she'll get those from the person who staffs that committee to us. All right. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Both of them? Okay. There's a second. All those in favor of adopting, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention?
Abstain.
Okay, Mr. France abstains. Okay. Also on the consent calendar is receipt of the MTD reports for the fourth quarter and the May, June, July, and August monthly reports. I don't think we have to vote to receive them, but we'll just consider them received. And we'll note this is a consent item today, so if there are any burning reasons why people want to pull it and talk about it, they can. Otherwise, in January, we're going to have a fuller report, an annual report, and do a more thorough discussion of
Madam Chair?
MTD. Yeah, Mr.
I just
Kaufman.
want to make one comment for the public. I thought it was interesting that in the August report is actually the 1 year from where we raised the 50-cent fare on the downtown waterfront shuttle. And I know we were always going a lot less every month because we were going up against that fare increase. But August was the 50 cent versus 50 cent first month of the fare increase. And there still was a little reduction. It wasn't much, but there still is a reduction. But I just think the public should know that ridership has decreased some on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, anything else? All right. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4, status report on alternative transportation programs.
So, Madam Chair, committee members, we thought it would be great to give you a status of what's going on and a little bit more depth into what the program's doing in transportation and public works transportation. And so we've asked Sarah Grant, who's the mobility coordinator for the city of Santa Barbara, and mobility coordinator, what is that? Well, she's handling all the programmatic work as it relates to alternative transportation. So she's kind of the go-to person on our staff when it comes to How do I do this with a bus? How do I do a carpool? Well, I've got this bicycle issue and I need better parking, or I want more lanes, or those kind of questions. Where's the missing link in the sidewalk? Can you get it done? You would be contacting the mobility coordinator. And she wears a lot of hats, and has really done a good job at bringing a good partnership with the community and to leverage the limited resources that we have in public works for transportation and these types of programs. So I think you'll be excited to hear what she has to say, and so I'll turn it over to Sarah.
Thank you, Rob, for the introduction. Again, my name is Sarah Grant, Mobility Coordinator, and I'm glad to be back here at the City of Santa Barbara. I think I saw you guys last time in November last year, so it's been about a year. And as Rob said, tonight will be a report on programs that we do in the City of Santa Barbara, and it's going to be a little bit more of a casual report in the regards that, if questions come up, feel free to interrupt me. I'm going to keep it a little more lively. I have a couple of short videos to show as well. And with that, we'll just jump right in. So basically, I'll just give you a little bit of a flavor of the programs that we have going on at the city. It's by all means not exhaustive, and I could probably talk all night about these programs. But just to start off, well, why do we do these programs? So transportation demand management, okay, that's a really wonky term out there that we use as transportation planners. I'm sure most of you are familiar with that term, but also to educate the audience that might be out there watching that basically transportation demand management works to their strategies to reduce single occupancy vehicles on our local roads and highways. These are cost-effective alternatives to increasing capacity of our roads, building wider freeways, building more roads, more interchanges, things like that. And these are programmatic in nature, so these are not capital investments that we're making. And that's what we do, but this is why. We hope to, through these transportation management strategies and programs, to decrease congestion with traffic, increase available parking available in our local roads and parking lots, and potential environmental and better outcomes, so decrease pollution, improve public health, and hopefully we have stronger communities and a more prosperous and livable community to live in day to day. So I'll just jump right in. So bicycles, what do we do to support bicycles? Well, we support people who ride bicycles by having a secure place for them to park their bike. We've had the hitching post program for many, many years, and this is a public bicycle parking program. And two ways that we approach this. One is that we go out into the field and we look where's the demand? Where do people need to park their bikes? And we go out there and we provide it with the hitching post. We also go by requests from business owners. So if they come to the city and ask, hey, I'd like a place to park my bike, I go out there and I investigate and see if there's room to accommodate that. Currently, we have a couple in the pipeline that are requesting bicycle parking. Our Daily Bread, they moved to a new location in Upper State Street area, and so we're investigating how do we accommodate bikes for that business. Same with Open Air Bicycles. We got a recent request from them to improve bicycle parking in front of their bike shop. Other things, besides parking for customers on the street frontage, is that we also have the bike station facility, which many of you are aware of, and that's in the Garage facility. And this is a secure 24-hour bicycle parking facility. And this is membership-based, so it adds an extra layer of security. And so bikes can be parked for longer periods of time in the same place day to day. It's really ideal for commuters. In this facility, we actually have showers and a washroom as well, and also a work stand and tools. And we are actually building another one, as many of you know, at the Transit Center, Lot 3, which we got a Measure A grant to do. So we'll have an additional 30 bicycle parking spaces for bike station members. And the facility that we have at the Garage has 78 spaces. Other things with bicycle-related projects, and this is also through Measure A, the city supported the Santa Barbara City College to replace their racks on site. So the City College, actually the students reached out to us and knew about the grant opportunity, and so we worked with them to come up with a great proposal, and they were successful in receiving the grant, and so we're really proud to be supportive in that effort. Currently, what we're doing with bicycle parking is we're also looking at public centers like community centers. So I've been working with our Parks Department to improve those at those locations throughout town, and as well as our schools, as schools ask for more and better increased bike parking. So we're working with those to accommodate that. What else we do to support bicycle? Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Chair Blackerby. Ms. Grant, if I could ask a quick question about the bike racks for on-street and also for the Santa Barbara City College. What types of racks are they using at Santa Barbara City College? And is there any possibility for updating the type of hardware that's used for on-street bike parking in the city of Santa Barbara?
Sure. To answer your first question, Chair Blackerby and Committee Member France, the bicycle racks at Santa Barbara City College are a peak rack design. It's a relatively local company based in San Luis Obispo, and it's based on a similar design as the school bicycle rack that you see at a lot of schools, where you put your wheel into the frame or into the rack, but it's got an extra locking mechanism to make locking your bike to the rack more secure. Rob, would you like to speak to the hitching post?
Is your
design?
question
Yeah, if I could
relative
actually,
to...
if I could, with specifics to the hitching post, one complaint that I see and I've heard from cyclists is because there's only one point of contact with the hitching post. In fact, you'll often see bikes leaning against their lock, or actually kind of leaning against whatever bike is parked adjacent to them, because the hitching post is a concept for horses with 4 legs. And bike has 2 wheels, and unfortunately bikes don't have like an emergency brake, so those wheels aren't locked, so they'll kind of roll around. Are there any types of bike locking street furniture that have 2 points of contact that could potentially make it through the city's design review process and be implemented in the future, for example, with the future bicycle master plan?
Well, as a matter of fact, we have, and actually Sarah's done some pretty good investigative. We've got some trial racks that are out back here that we've been looking at. And now that she's back, that's something that we could, move forward with and look at. I think the sensitivity, obviously, is the architecture and making sure it's done right. I think for sure, like, for instance, in situations where we're doing a lot of group racks, the ones like the one that Sarah's working on for Canyon Perdido in front of the businesses there where our Daily Bread used to be. That is going to have a different style with 2 points of contact for sure, and have a little bit more ways to make sure bikes aren't falling down. So yeah, I think there's more to come on that.
Thank you.
And thank you for reminding me about the bicycle corral project that this committee reviewed at the end of last year. And we're moving forward through that process for it to become a pilot project. And we are taking it to the Downtown Parking Committee next month as the next level of review. So the request from the business owners, as I mentioned before with the hitching post, we responded to those requests. But in this case, the business owners came up with a proposal for a different kind of bike parking, which we're working to accommodate that request. And so the bike parking. Another key element of our program is that we support bicycle education in our community. And we've had bicycle education in our community for probably less than 10 years, so it's a relatively new program. And it started off with the city in a partnership with Traffic Solutions, and they became certified through the League of American Bicyclists to teach curriculum that is based on the League of American Bicyclists. So this is a national curriculum. And over the years, the city has cultivated relationships in the community to promote bicycle education, primarily with the Santa Barbara Bicycle Coalition and the Coalition for Sustainable Transportation. And so some of the key programs that we have with bicycle education with our partnerships, we have adult programs, and pictured here our adult street skills clinics, where we teach everything from fixing a flat to learning the rules of the road, but basic bike handling skills, as well as a ride around town, so that the cyclists can take the time to internalize the new material that they learned and practice it out there on the road. Also through the bicycle education program, we've worked with the Bicycle Coalition and with Traffic Solutions to promote education at workplaces. So really quick, short, sometimes lunch hour sessions to just get some more information in the hands of employees, and also give them more resources to get more education in our community. And this program has been growing and evolving, and we could not do it without the community partnerships that we have with the Bicycle Coalition, and it continues to grow. We're seeing a demand for Spanish language education, so that's one of the things out there on the horizon in the future, as well as potential partnerships with the Santa Barbara City College adult education program. So reaching an even broader audience, letting the community know that these opportunities are available. Youth programs, virtually non-existent in 2009, for expanded education available for youth. We've had programmings with Safe Routes to School, which I'll talk about in a minute, but I'm really excited about the youth programs that we have. And what they are is that they are 18 hours of instruction. They're after school or summer camp sessions. And 2010 is when we had our first after-school program, and now all of the middle schools are participating at some level with these pedal power classes. And at the end of the class, the students actually earn a bike. And so through the support of our instructors and TAs, we're able to reach out to all these schools and make it happen. And with these kids, they also learn street safety, handling skills, rules of the road, how to fix a flat, and we also emphasize helmet safety for the kids. And I think to just show you a flavor of this program, it's kind of more exciting to watch a video. So I'm going to bring that up. And this was a video done actually by the Bicycle Coalition. So let me bring it up to full screen here.
Kids the confidence that they need at such a young age. I'm happy to participate in this program. It has a lot of wonderful results that happen. A lot of kids' lives are touched. It's so much fun to share and educate kids to be prepared to ride on the roads with other car drivers. It prepares them to make decisions. It prepares them for driver's ed. It's pre-driver's ed. So it's a lot of fun to share that.
I think we need it smoother. That means more pedaling.
I signed up for pedal power because I love riding my bike and I thought it would be really good to learn a little more about safety and how to take care of my bike. What I like the best about pedal power is going on all the rides because I can feel the wind running through my face. It feels exciting and new. I learned about the signals, and I also learned how to stay safe while biking on the road. It is so awesome. You just get to play games, go on bike rides, hang with friends, and this bike is awesome. And I think it's really cool to get me a lock because I need a lock and I don't have one. And I would totally suggest this to my friends because it's super awesome. And you get this cool light.
Turn my mic back on. So I wanted to show this video. I think it gives you more of a flavor than if it's just hearing me talk about it. You can really see that the kids get their hands on the bikes, they're riding them, they're practicing skills and drills. They're out there on the road with certified instructors and TAs guiding them and coaching them. And really supporting them through the transformation of becoming confident bicyclists. And this is really their first education to driver's ed. And we hope that through this program as well that they become better drivers with this. Yeah, sure.
Turn your mic on.
What is the city's role in helping the Bicycle Coalition do this program?
Absolutely, that is a great question, Committee Member Horn. So what the city's role is, like I mentioned before, is that there was no bicycle education 10 years ago, and we've worked to find people out in the community to help and support us, because if the city of Santa Barbara were to run a bicycle education program on our own, it would take full-time staff. And then some, because one instructor can't be everywhere doing everything at any time. So what the city has done over time is work to cultivate relationships in the community, and the most logical place was the Bicycle Coalition, where we reached out to them and we built a small core of instructors. And over time that has grown and grown and grown. And actually on a regular basis, every couple of years, we send new volunteers that are interested in education in our community to become certified instructors so that they can help out in our schools with the adult programs, with the outreach to employers, with after-school programs. So through everything. And this slide right here, we support the development of league certified instructors. This is actually one of the trainings that we held here. We hosted at the city of Santa Barbara. And most of those people that you see pictured are actually certified and are in the city of Santa Barbara working to promote education.
I would just add that for years, Coast has been, long before 2009, Coast has been sponsoring bike rodeos and those kinds of things for elementary school students. And so it's not for adults and it's not for teenagers, but it's definitely for kids. So it's been happening at some level.
No,
I just want to give them credit for all the work they've been doing.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
I think what I was really excited about was the in-depth education that we're getting for our kids, and not to discount the efforts of Coast. And I'm going to talk about that in more in depth next. What I'd like to say is that the city's role has been working to cultivate these instructors, which we actually send a lot of these instructors that we work with through the Bicycle Coalition to assist Coast in their efforts in the schools so that they have more help in that regard.
Are you saying that there's a financial support for them getting training from the city?
Yes, actually, the city in the past has supported people that were interested in education in our community and sending them to the trainings.
Great.
So Safe Routes to School, as Committee Member Horn pointed out, that we've had relationships with our schools starting in 2000. So before 2000, we did not have a Safe Routes to School program. And the city was actually the first to cultivate that program here in the city of Santa Barbara. And they brought together a big group of stakeholders to, from everything from education to enforcement to volunteer organizations as well. And that program has grown from 2000 from no schools involved in Safe Routes to School to actually this last calendar year was the first time that every school in the city limits participated at some level in Safe Routes to School activities. So that is 16 schools in the city of Santa Barbara. And 15 of those schools participated in Walk to School Day and or Bike to School Day, which is huge. So just to give you an overview for Safe Routes to School, the core elements of that is that it is a national program, and education and encouragement are two of the key elements, and these are the elements I'm going to talk about here, but other things is engineering, which is what the city of Santa Barbara works for towards improving physical improvements around the schools, whether it's small, whether it's striping changes or signage, or bigger, larger improvements where we go after grants to do larger projects. Enforcement, so coordinating with local enforcement, whether it's with PD or CHP, to do enforcement, as well as evaluation, so tracking over time the participation level so we can actually see the impact of the program over time, before the program, during the program, and after the program. So as we add more encouragement programs, more education, as well as regular walk and bike to school days, and seeing the true impact of that over time. So last year with our education programs, this is a pretty amazing number, and starting in 2000, like I said, we have 0. This last year, we had 63 pedestrian and bicycle safety trainings in 13 of our schools in the city of Santa Barbara, and about 4,400 kids participated in these sessions. So we're almost at touching about half of the kids that attend the schools in the city of Santa Barbara with these programs. So the way that we do these is actually through safety assemblies, class presentations. The photo on the bottom shows kids that are doing a walkabout around the school where they're getting walker awareness training, things to look out for safety-wise. And above is a bicycle rodeo, which is a short 45-minute session where we introduce the basic rules of the road to the kids, as well as basic bike handling skills, so riding in a straight line, scanning, turning, signaling, what to look for on the road. And so those are the ways that we engage the kids, particularly at our elementary schools. And over time, as more schools have participated and there's more growing interest and demand and more parents getting involved, we're now at the point where we have 5 city schools that are participating on a regular basis, so meaning that on every week or once a month. Actually, there's only 1 school that's doing it monthly, so the other 4 schools are doing it on a weekly basis where they're encouraging parents and kids to walk and bike to school. Some of the schools have coined a fun name, Bow Wow, Bike on Wednesday, Walk on Wednesday. And then, as I mentioned, overall, we do mobility counts, which is evaluation. So we see the impacts of these encouragement programs over the time. And so far, the results have shown that engaging in the schools and giving the parents and the children education, as well as opportunities to encourage them to try to walk or bike at least once a week, does have an impact on travel behavior. Also, through the Safe Routes to School program, we support low-cost helmet distributions. So last year, we were in 14 schools where we host events that are promoted to the parents, and we were able to give away 546 helmets at low cost to the families. So these are helmets that are $10 by donation. So very, very affordable. We would want to be sure that we get the helmets on the kids' heads before they get hurt. And it also it complements our program with the Safe Routes to School, where we teach the kids that it's really important to wear a helmet. So by giving them a helmet, they can actually wear one. What's new? So these programs keep growing in demand. 2000, we didn't have anything, and we've grown with the Coast program, and we've grown with the Bicycle Coalition by offering more in-depth opportunities. And so with the pedal power class with the Bicycle Coalition, it complements the programs that we do through Coast, which are in the schools during school time. But then we can leverage the opportunity to continue that education after school or in the summertime. And in addition, we've seen the demand for family-oriented bicycle education events. So this is the first year that we've done an event like this. We hosted the first one on the East Side in May of 2013, and this was as a result of the outreach efforts that we did through the Neighborhood Traffic Management Program, where we went out to the community and were listening to the concerns that families had about walking and biking in their community. And one of the things that we heard was that just the need for education. And so we met the community, and we had our first event, and we had 50 parents and kids of all ages, from grandmothers to toddlers, attending our workshop. And we offered a bilingual presentation, free bicycle safety tune-ups, as well as practicing street skills in a bike ride. And these events would not be possible without the partnerships that we have in the community, especially with the Bicycle Coalition and with Coast, because we just need the manpower. When we have 50 parents and kids teaching education, working with them, helping them with their bike, we need lots of hands to help out with that. And so it's been a really great partnership. And we got such great feedback from our first event in May from the volunteers that helped put it on that they asked the city to put on another one. So we looked to September as our next date, and we actually coincided with another community event, which was a health fair on the East Side. And so we called it BC Familia, and we hosted a very similar format where we had a classroom presentation that was bilingual, free safety tune-ups. We also offered free helmets as well. So every parent and child that took the class got a free helmet until supplies ran out. And that was very successful. And we envision that will be more in the future. In talking with our educators and with our teachers that are working in our schools, that we will probably see in the future, we'll be working with schools that are interested to bring them family-oriented weekend events. So that's another program that we're looking forward to growing. Another thing that we do to promote safe bicycle riding is that, and education, is that we're helping put lights out there on the streets for bicycle riders that don't have lights on their bicycles, to increase their visibility when they're commuting home at night. And this is another partnership that we have with the Bicycle Coalition, where they provide the sheer manpower to be out there on the streets and talking to people and flagging them down. And what the city does is that we actually we purchase the lights, and we put them in the hands of the volunteers, and we just get them out there and we get them on the bikes. This year we are going to be putting out 450 sets of lights out there in the city of Santa Barbara, so that's 900 lights, front and rear. And we're actually going to be having a focus on the East Side, primarily because of this recent effort that we had with the East Side planning process. So we want to continue that momentum to provide that support to the community. So other things that we do to support, I'm talking a lot about bicycling, is that we support Bike Month. Well, now it's Bike Month. In 1995, the city of Santa Barbara hosted the first Bike to Work Day. Before that, there wasn't anything really like that existed in Santa Barbara. And since then, it's grown. 1995 was the first Bike to Work Day in De La Guerra Plaza. About 500 people showed up. And from there, the city was actually approached by the Bicycle Coalition at the time. That was really exciting. What can we do to, promote more events like these in our community? And from there, it evolved into Bike Week, where we still had a cornerstone event of Bike to Work Day, which also had some other bicycling-related events throughout the week. And in 2010, we've evolved from just a single event to Bike Week to a whole month of events, which some of you might have heard about, is coined Cyclemania. And this is an event that's coordinated through Traffic Solutions, through SBCAG, the countywide ride-sharing organization. And they've really taken this on. And now they're continuing to implement this program through the support of Measure A, which the city of Santa Barbara was a co-sponsor in their effort so that they could get funding to continue this effort. And so still to this day, Bike to Work Day is still a cornerstone event during the month, as well as the Traffic Solutions Bike Challenge. And then sprinkled throughout that are other fun social events, including a new event, Bicycle Fashion Show, and it's just really building a culture around bicycling and community, connecting people. And I wanted to show another quick video about this one. And so this video really shows you what's going on with Cyclemania today, and with a focus on the Bike Challenge and the Bike to Work Day event. That going here?
I'm sure it's wonderful.
But the video is kind of showing the community relationships that were being built around bicycling. And so the city still to this day supports Bike to Work Day as a key event during Bike Month. Other programs that we do to encourage alternative transportation is during Earth Day, we've tried various ways to promote taking alternative transportation. We find that having a key time, just like Bike Month, is a good time to focus on bicycling and encourage people to try an alternative mode. On Earth Day, we've supported in the past riding free on MTD as a way to try a new mode of transportation. So the city has supported that in the past. Other ways in more recent years that we've done promotional videos to promote Car Free to Earth Day, collaboration for advertisements with the Community Environmental Council and how they do their messaging to support that, since now that event has grown over the years as well, and now over 30,000 people attend the event. So that's a pretty huge impact on our local transportation system. And also the city provides support to help cultivate Bike World, which is one of the villages there at Earth Day. Another way that the city of Santa Barbara works to promote alternate transportation is promoting a bicycle-friendly image of Santa Barbara. So one of the primary ways that we do that is actually through our Santa Barbara Car Free partnership. And through this partnership, the city was actually one of the key partners to be at the table to start this program. And what Santa Barbara Car Free is an ecotourism project that promotes people visiting Santa Barbara to come here car free, to leave their car at home, essentially take a vacation from your car. And ways that they do that is through taking Amtrak, riding discounted prices, as well as when they come here car free to give them discounts at hotels and restaurants and other partner businesses, maybe go on a wine tour. And so this is essentially a partnership of hundreds of businesses in Santa Barbara and across the South Coast to support alternative transportation. A lot of these hotels as well offer bicycles, and through the program we've worked to support the businesses in achieving their vision of how they want to support or be a partner in this program. Another thing that the city does is we help print these maps, so when visitors come they know where to go and how to get there, maybe take the bus up to the Mission, how to walk around downtown, what are the bicycle routes, how to get to the beach, that sort of thing. And what's really exciting about this program is that it was given an award by the EPA for being a model program across the country. They won the EPA Clean Air Excellence Award in 2009. And that's not stopping this program from evolving. Actually, right now, the Car-Free program is looking at kind of giving it a new overhaul and a new vision and taking it to the next level, and maybe becoming a 2.0 version where you've got information on your phone, you can go online, and actually doing some more individualized marketing with the local businesses and with the hotels. So if you visit a particular hotel, really putting together packages, what can you do from this hotel without your car? How can you walk there? How can you bike there? How can you take the bus? And so I think that's really exciting, and the city continues to be a strong partner in that effort, and really looking forward to continuing to evolve the program. The city also promotes the use of transit. So for commuters and for visitors, as I mentioned, through the Santa Barbara Car-Free program, supporting taking the bus for our visitors, and also the city subsidizes, as you know, the shuttle, the waterfront shuttle, and also the State Street shuttle, so that people can ride the bus at a very low cost for just a couple of quarters, and that has a big impact on how people choose to get around by making it available at a low cost, and also for commuters. So, supporting regional transportation with the Clean Air Express, which is to the North County, and as well as to the South County through the Vista Coastal Express. And more recently, the VCTC service is going through an overhaul and revamping a 10-year plan of what they want to do for their Vista service. So the city was actually a key player and working with SBCAG to be sure that we were communicating our regional needs for people that use the service, that come to the Santa Barbara on a daily basis, primarily to work, but some come also to visit, and what our needs were from a customer service standpoint and for just a service standpoint, to get people here and get them to work and get them on time and get them here on time and not be standing at the curb, and knowing that they will get a space on the bus. So the city keeps their ear to the ground and working on those issues and keeping those communication lines open with those other government organizations. One of the other programs that we work on is with Traffic Solutions, more transportation demand management programs, so promoting carpooling. And in the past, we've worked with Traffic Solutions to promote Rideshare Week and carpooling. But this is a really new and exciting program. It's called Dynamic Ride Sharing. And basically what it is that it's using new and innovative technologies to increase carpooling, and more and flexible, dynamic, real-time ride sharing. And this is actually going on right now. They just started earlier this week, the Smart Ride Challenge. And so Traffic Solutions is promoting this program by encouraging people that have smartphones and that are looking to carpool to download the app. And basically, this is like a new era in carpooling. So carpooling is usually very rigid. You need to communicate with certain people and pick them up at the same time every day. There's not a whole lot of flexibility. But what this new program is taking advantage of new technologies that we have out there to make carpooling more flexible. So creating loose groups of people that are committed to carpooling on an occasional basis. and connecting that group of people. You don't necessarily have to ride every day, but through this app you can connect with those people, and also an automatic exchange of funds happens. So you don't. It takes that other layer of carpooling. It makes it less complicated. And so right now the Smart Ride Challenge is happening through the end of February. And for more information, you can go to smartride.org. And if you have a smartphone, if you search for Karma Carpool, and that's Karma with a C, and you can download that app. And you put in your information about what your commute schedule is like, and it will actually send you push notifications about potential people that you could share the ride with. And so the main pushes right now are to focus on the 101 corridor, primarily from Isla Vista to City College. A lot of students live out in Isla Vista, but they go to school at City College, so promoting more ride sharing within that community, as well as from Ventura, so to decrease the congestion on the 101 and connecting people that live in Ventura into carpools. So it's just one more tool in the toolbox out there to decrease congestion and reduce traffic. So in the realm of transportation demand management, the city actually works to be a model employer in how we provide incentives and benefits to our employees to take alternative transportation. And so the ways that we do that is that we actually have a program administrator, which is me. We find that's really key in getting the word out to your employees, that you have a key person in place that people know they can go to ask questions or support. Hey, I'm looking to join a carpool. How do I do that? I live in North County. I'd like to ride the bus. How do I ride the bus? And where does it take me? And when does it pick me up? And so I provide that support to our employees. And in 2006, end of 2006, early 2007, we revamped our program to offer a lot more incentives, financial incentives like subsidized bus passes, discounts on long-distance transit. We provide free bicycle tune-ups for our employees. And through the program, you can see that the impact here, we have, over the last 6 years, more than 400 employees that had actually gone online and used the Traffic Solutions tool, where you can calendar your trips. And so we use this tool to track our participation in the program. And I am absolutely sure that there's more employees taking alternate transportation that aren't going online and letting us know they're walking or biking or taking the bus or carpooling. But I think that it goes to show that with over 400 employees that are regularly, that have logged the trip, it shows that this program does have an impact on how employees choose to, how they choose to get to work. And this chart shows that almost 200 employees have chosen to bike and log their trips. 150 employees have taken the bus. About 225 employees have carpooled. And lots of employees take the advantage of telecommuting on occasion, as well as walking to work. About another 175 employees have chosen to walk at work at some point while they worked here at the City of Santa Barbara. Program impact. So overall impact, which is great with this tool with Traffic Solutions, we're actually able to see the kind of miles that are being saved, trips are being saved. More than 66,000 trips have been saved, over 3 million miles, which is to the moon and back 3 times, and almost 150,000 gallons of fuel saved. Wow. And overall for our employees, they've saved over $1.5 million in their own pockets by not driving alone to work. So this has real impacts on our employees, and I hear anecdotes all the time about when they take alternative transportation, when they're carpooling or taking the bus, and the relationships that they're cultivating amongst colleagues or other coworkers, and anecdotes about them being able to save for other important things to them, such as saving for their kids' college. So driving a car can be very expensive, but having these options available allows people more flexibility. And just as an overview of the trips saved by mode, so the previous chart was about just numbers of employees that have chosen to take a particular trip mode. But this is cumulatively all of our employees. If you took every single trip that they've logged, this is kind of how the pie chart turns out to be. It seems to be fairly equal: bike, bus, carpool, probably about 25-30% there. And then the remainder of the chart, walking and van pooling and telecommuting and other modes. And as a part of our program, I mentioned that we have a free bus pass program. And I just wanted to remind you committee members that as you are a part of the city organization, that you are also eligible for that benefit of a free bus pass. And I think some of you take advantage of that. But if you aren't, that is available to you through the city's work trip reduction incentive program.
Madam Chairman?
Yes?
Ms. Grant, I have a couple of questions for you, unrelated actually. First one is, have you designated a specific calendar month for 2014 for Cyclemania?
Yes, actually, Cyclemania happens every year in the month of May.
May, okay.
May is National Bike Month. And so across the country, actually, all sorts of communities are taking advantage of being in the spotlight, whether they're just doing a singular Bike to Work Day event, a bike week, or an entire month like the city of Santa Barbara.
Okay. My second question, you were mentioning all the different modes of transportation, Vista Bus and the one for the North County. I forget which that one's called.
Cleaner
Express. Have you done any outreach to Santa Barbara Airbus in regarding to reaching tourism coming in from LAX to the Hyatt and then out into Goleta, and connecting those folks with transportation into Santa Barbara and discounts and so on?
Committee Member Burnham, I don't have a lot of communication with the Santa Barbara Airbus. That's not an area that I focus on, but that is a good point to consider. And I think that our relationships that we have perhaps with the Santa Barbara car-free folks, this would be a great issue to bring to their attention.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Kaufman-Gray?
Can you go over what the city is doing, working with the cruise ships and probably the Santa Barbara Chamber of Commerce, helping all the passengers to get around town when they're here for the day? I know tomorrow is going to be another day. How is the city working with the cruise ships to help the passengers navigate around Santa Barbara during the day, using the shuttle buses and everything?
Committee Member Kaufman-Gray, the city, at least in my particular position, I don't have a lot to do with that, but I do know that through the Santa Barbara car-free folks, they have a very strong relationship with those people to provide, and they also have a good relationship with MTD to provide boosted services as needed, and they also work with a lot of the partner businesses that might have opportunities, like some of the wine tours that take them off-site. They're there and they're ready to take them on, to take them to destinations that they need to go with. So I do know that they have a good relationship with those, and I also know that that they work with the waterfront folks as well in coordinating those efforts.
Actually, that brings up a really, really good, important point about our program. You bring up the question about the ships coming to town, and that's a tourist-based interest. Really, our program is all about getting people to and from work in the city of Santa Barbara and the region in alternative ways, so that we can not increase in traffic congestion. It's really interesting. The history of Santa Barbara has really been focused on this concept that we don't want to be like LA. We want to be a place where innovation is mixing well, man-made stuff is mixing well with the natural environment. And so our program, it kind of evolves out of that as we grow incrementally. It's not to just say, hey, we need to take away your car keys. That's not the goal of the program. The program is to actually make an atmosphere, an environment that's inviting for people to use alternative modes, primarily because as we grow, we don't have the room for all the vehicles, And quite frankly, the city of Santa Barbara, the community has set a pretty high standard for the level of congestion they're willing to tolerate. So it's not that it's all about congestion, but it's really important. And when you bring up that point about tourism would be off target in terms of where we're focused. But there are other interests that we do support, as Sarah mentioned, that would do that. But I did want to slip that in because I think it's really important. A lot of people sometimes miss the boat. In the 22 years that I've been here, we get in a miscommunication. Well, hey, you know what? I'll never ride a bike. That's okay. If you want to commit to driving, and that's great. We want to make sure that there's enough people riding their bikes so that you can drive congestion-free. And that's really important because we're all working together. At any moment in time, someone could be a pedestrian, a cyclist, behind the wheel of a car, or on MTV, on the bus. It's all about moving people and doing it in a way that is the least amount of congestion, and then also the best for the environment.
Madam Chairman?
Yeah, Mr. Brennan?
I'd like to elaborate on Mr. Coffin-Gray's question because it's a good one. My experience riding the State Street shuttles has seen MTD is really stretched in their resources. I noticed the other day when we had a cruise ship come in, I think they put out 8 shuttles to try to accommodate all the passengers coming off the cruise ship, and that's great. It did unbalance the State Street shuttle service regarding where the cutoff point was and where the service lacked going up from Carrillo to Sola, and I experienced this firsthand because I was riding the shuttles. So MTD is bending over backwards on the one hand to accommodate this tremendous influx of folks coming in from the ship. Maybe just a suggestion, maybe there needs to be more coordination as far as knowing when the cruise ships are coming in and maybe anticipating a little more. Maybe they've done all they can. I don't know. Cynthia, you might know more about that than I do. But, coordinating, knowing ahead of time when a cruise ship is coming in and trying to accommodate as much as possible as far as what MTD can do. But it is stretching the resources trying to accommodate this influx.
Yeah. Ms. Bosch?
Yeah, I can answer that. I actually coordinate closely with Brian Slagle in the Waterfront Department. He does give me a calendar about 6 months ahead of time when the cruise ships are expected, and the Waterfront Department subsidizes the cost of putting out additional shuttles for each cruise ship visit and having an extra supervisor out in the field coordinating those shuttles and trying to keep the system working as efficiently as we possibly can. But it does overwhelm the system, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, Ms. Horn?
I was interested that in the BART strike this week that there was something on the radio about casual carpooling really exploding, as people were desperate to get to work with no BART. And then I saw just this week on one of the MTD buses on the back there was Google Transit and then, the website to go to find out about local transit. And I just really just feel so glad to commend MTD for really being up to the minute. And it's great to hear, that the apps with the smartphone and everything it's really coming along. So, fantastic.
Yeah. And I wanted to say something back on bikes. One thing that is new and different in our city for alternative transportation is the new Haley bike lane. And I have to say, I took it the other day. I went up State Street, which normally that's like the roomiest, safest feeling bike lane in town. Turned on Haley, and that thing is huge. It's super wide and really nice, and I've never felt safe riding on Haley. I do now. It's like a pleasure, especially because it's a nicely new paved road. So I just want to say thank you to that, and for really, I know you guys really went, oh, hey, there's room. These are huge lanes and everything. I think it's safer to drive on now, too, the way things are really striped, especially with the yellow stripe along the left side. It just looks phenomenal, and it feels really good and really safe. So I just want to say thank you on that and on all of the things that you work on. And I'm so glad we have a mobility coordinator again, because obviously you do the work of at least 2 people. So it's important that we have at least one person doing that work. So I just want to thank you for that and for really, pushing it and always looking for the next thing. I think it's important, and I'm really, really grateful. So, thanks. Yeah.
I had one question, Sarah. Is Santa Barbara City doing anything with Goleta? Because they're working on their, downtown Goleta plans and transportations, bike accessibility for bike lanes and all that kind of stuff. And just wondered if Santa Barbara has any connections with Goleta right now.
Right now, the city that I'm aware of, I don't think that we have an active relationship with the city of Goleta in what they're doing for their transportation planning efforts and implementation.
Okay.
Chair Blackerby, and I'd like to, Ms. Grant, thank you so much for bringing this presentation. I really appreciate the depth of various kind of multimodal transportation demand management tools, and I really appreciate the quantification that you all have done for the city's internal program. It's great to see the cumulative impact of, I guess, since 5 years, right? Since 2008, like you said, $1.5 million, right? That's very significant, and I imagine about 5-6 years ago, I worked here in Public Works, and I remember there's parking. There's a lack of parking space. And I think that was actually one of the impetuses for the program. Am I correct in that? One thing I think it's important is we've quantified that impact, and because those alternative choices were made, because really any transportation choice is an alternative that you could choose, right? The non-motorized, non-requiring a car space or additional vehicle, on city streets, those choices were made. There was more space available for people who would like to, as Mr. Dayton, you pointed out, would like to drive up and have a parking space available to them. I remember, I think it's probably still the case, if you're a new staff at City Hall, you cannot get a parking space. You have to wait until you're higher up in the pecking order, right? Because it's just not available, right? And that's the reality of limited space. One thing that I would love to see in the future, and I think this program is great, with the general planning, as you all may recall, and this is now going back to presentation to TCC some 4 years ago. I think it was Nelson Nygaard presented about quantification for our transportation system. And one challenge at the time was there's not great quantification of transportation demand management. So for general planning purposes, they could only really think about kind of parking and basically only looking at supply side and car-specific quantification. Even in our County Association of Governments, they have not been focusing on quantification. But transportation is a quantification game, right? If we can't count it, it doesn't count, right? And I love that we're starting to count with what the city can grasp. And obviously, this is kind of the cutting edge of national standards. But I would love to see, if as possible, the Transportation Demand Management Project really try to project out what impact it can be making with all these different modes, with transit, with long-distance shuttles, fan pools, biking, walking, etc., carpooling, what impact that's going to make on our surface streets in terms of trips reduced. And even I've seen projections like in Austin, Texas, they've even made projections of level of service differences with higher amounts of alternative use. And that's the kind of thing I think would be really valuable in communicating to maybe individuals in the public who don't necessarily want to choose active forms of transportation and are going to primarily drive, as to what's the benefit for them. Well, if you could quantify it, then it's easier to explain. I just got to put that suggestion out because I think that'd be a great maybe long-term goal for the strategy for transportation demand management in the city, because the city does great work, and a maybe future goal would be to try to quantify that and to show that better. So thank you for this presentation today.
Yeah. Other questions? I just have one. If we can maybe get an update on what the situation is with the update of the bicycle master plan.
Thank you for asking. So we have a bicycle master plan, and that's really interesting for us because we know what master plans are. For the community, they don't have any idea what a master plan is. And that's the biggest challenge right there in a nutshell, is we don't want to just do a plan. We want to have a community engagement process. Haley, as you brought up, Haley Street, may be the last unturned stone of just putting paint on a street.
Right.
In fact, the only reason that one was painted was because we had a new traffic engineer that came to town, Derek Bailey, who's amazing for Santa Barbara, by the way, advertising for him. And he found the space. He found a way. And the other thing, I don't know why I thought about this, but if you'll note that yellow line that's also on Haley Street to the left is a wonderful new tool to instruct you that you're on a one-way street, which some people forget, and turn left from the number 2 lane, which is crazy. Back to the master plan. So we have gone over the city, and in my tenure, we have doubled the lane miles of bicycle facilities on the street, simply by finding the room and restriping. The next level of bicycling is going to be different. It requires much more than that. It requires finding new space on the road. And so the question is, does the community want that? That's the question. We have just received the Level Silver Award, which we had before from the American Association of...
The League of American Bicyclists, and we were renewed at a silver level status. You're required to renew your status with the league every few years.
So
we
a silver level, and then after silver level, there's gold level and platinum level and diamond level.
Oh.
So we're not the best. And I don't think there's actually a diamond in America yet, but there are other cities that are better than Santa Barbara in terms of their cycling. And so, again, the question, does Santa Barbara, is silver fine with this community? Do they want to take it up to the next level? And so the bicycle master plan is going to be less of a bicycle master plan and more of a community engagement on that question. What is the vision of this community for cycling? What exactly do we want to have and do we see in the future? And then, so we're going to be using innovative tools to have that conversation. It's not going to be a workshop you come during the week at night. It's going to be some sort of innovation, media innovative tool, computer-based, we hope, ongoing conversation where the community can dialogue and really get new ideas from itself and then judge those ideas and see where we want to be. Once we have a vision from the community, we believe we can get there. But that is the question, what is it? And so that's what we're going to be doing. We right now we're building we're spending our time finding out what is even the possibility. What does a new infrastructure look like so that when people start commenting on it, we can say safely, oh, yeah, yes, you can do that. Or, nah, you can kind of do that. So we're answering those questions internally. We're also meeting with people to build a strategy for how we would go about with such a public engagement. We're hopeful that come spring of next year, we'll be ready to roll something out with the community and start that conversation. So we're excited about what now is called the Bicycle Master Plan. We're going to have a new name for it because Bicycle Master Plan doesn't mean much to many people. We're going to have a name that'll really hopefully call to question that vision the community wants to have for cycling in the future.
Great. And then just to clarify, it's not just about bike lanes, right? It's kind of all bike facilities, all where you're parking your bike, where you're...
It's a vision.
Everything. Great. Cool. I just wanted to be clear to the community that it's not just painting things on roads or widening streets or things like that, but that it's all the whole life cycle of the bicycle and where it goes.
That's good. Thank you for that clarification.
Cool. All right. Well, is that all for the presentation?
Chair Blackery, if I could just close out,
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, of all the things that I talked about tonight, it's just kind of a flavor of the things that we do to promote alternative transportation from a programmatic standpoint. And all in all, the city can't do the work that we do without the partnerships and the relationships in the community. And in order to achieve its goal to reduce congestion and reduce traffic in our town and make this a more livable community every day. And so we really appreciate the relationships that we've cultivated with organizations and as well as other local government entities like Traffic Solutions and MTD and all the business partners through our Santa Barbara Car Free program and local partners like the Bike Coalition and the Coalition for Sustainable Transportation.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. Seems like that's it. Anything else? Mr. Dayton?
That's the end of the meeting.
Okay.
We'll see you in January.
All right. We are adjourned at 7:12. Thank you.